Hi, and welcome to Megan's Mystical Mashup, a conversation about life, the universe, and anything in between. Thank you for joining us, and welcome to the show. Today's guest is an original member of the Lightworkers Lab and can be found here in the main lab, the Lab Light Room, as well as in the Circle. She lives in Pasadena, California with her husband of 42 years and her dog, a Maltese named Bijou. She has 3 boys ages 40, 37, and 31, and a grandson, Kevin, aged 6. She's an intuitive empath and angel channeler, as well as a Reiki and crystal Reiki master, and a practitioner and teacher of tuning forks. And they're lovely, and I have experienced her healing with tuning forks, and can't recommend it enough. It's so wonderful. On top of that, she's authored 2 books, Reiki School for Self-Healing and Reiki School for Reiki Practitioners. She just opened an Etsy shop where she sells wrapped crystals that she's attuned with Reiki symbols. If that isn't enough, she also runs a nonprofit called Healing Enterprises, where she offers Reiki, crystal Reiki, and tuning fork healing and online classes. All proceeds go to help abused children. It's just amazing. Such an altruist, which is just lovely. A true survivor. She's gone through a lot in her life with an incredible story, some of which I hope will come up in today's conversation. Please give a warm Lightworkers welcome to Rita Krikorian Ghazarian. So here we go. And hello, Rita. Welcome to the show.
Hello everyone. Beautiful souls.
Every single one of them.
Yes, they are. And I know them all personally. I met them all at the Bliss retreat.
Ooh.
You guys are awesome.
Yep, that Bliss retreat. People are talking about it already, and it was. I've gone for 2 years. You've gone for 2 years too, right, Rita?
Yeah.
Yep. It's very, very fun,
And I'm planning to go this year too. Let's cross our fingers.
We're all doing the finger cross so far, but yes, I hope to go too, and I know some other people who are really hopeful about going. So hopefully it works out. It's going to work out. We're going to manifest it, right?
Yes, we are.
We
are, definitely.
Right. So what I like to do for first-time guests on the show is to ask about your spiritual journey. And a part of that includes how you found the Lightworkers Lab or Crystal and all of those things. But really, you can add as much to your spiritual journey as you feel comfortable doing.
My spiritual journey started like 20 years ago. I got very, very, very sick. Before that, I was abused a lot. And that's why I opened my nonprofit organization to help. I don't want any kid to go through what I went through. And then I got married. I had 3 kids. And then I got sick again. And when I was in the hospital for almost a month and a half, I couldn't wake up. And suddenly I saw a light. And it says, your time is not now. You have to go back. And I opened my eyes. So since then, I started digging and looking. What should I do? How can I help other people to do whatever they're going to do? How to heal themselves? And then one day, I was looking how to open my third eye so I can heal people more. My thing is more about healing. So I found Crystal there. I start following her, and I am so attached to her. I learned so much, and I read so many, many books too. So that's how I got stronger, more powerful, more energetic, and my life is wonderful now. Thanks to the spirit, and thanks for the lab who gave me this chance to be more stronger and healthier and happier.
Well, that's wonderful. So when you talk about your illnesses and then hearing that your time isn't now going back, were you in a coma, or what? Were you in the hospital? What?
I was in a coma.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's almost 32 days.
You were in a coma for 32 days or right around
Yes,
there? Holy
yes,
cow, that's I
yes,
love
I
how
was.
you just kind of say that like I went grocery shopping yesterday. You know, it's a really big
See,
deal.
I know it's simple now because I practiced it so much. I have confidence of myself. That's what helping me. I'm always calm. I don't get angry. I don't get upset. Um, Sometimes I do, but not always. But I know how to calm it down. So I won't get like, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to go
Mm,
whatever it passed, and I don't want to remember what anything. I cleared my inner child. Inner child work is so, so powerful. I think everybody should do that.
talk a bit.
That's what,
Oh, go
okay.
ahead. Well, I was just
No,
going to
no, it's
say,
fine.
just say more about that, the inner work child, without going into specifics of your own. You know, if you're not interested in doing that, what does that look like to you doing inner child work? What's involved with it? What kind of things are important to keep in mind?
It's kind of protecting yourself when you were like 5 years old and something happened to you, and then you were scared. And
Mm-hmm.
now, when you're adult, and when that things happen again, you'll be safe because you
Mm-hmm.
said, "Well, I'm here. It's not gonna happen again. It's gone. I'm here to protect you. I'm here to love you." So when you say that in your mind, it's all like disappears. That anger goes away, that fears goes away, but you have to go year by year, whatever happened to you in the past.
Do
You just
you?
go in there like it's kind of meditation. You just go in there like I'm 5 years old. My dad abused me, kicked me, whatever, and I go and then see the child that Rita that was like 5 years old, and I go to her and I say, "Well, I'm here. Don't be scared anymore. I'm gonna protect you. Hold my hand." I give her a hug and hold her hand, and then I take her out of the house.
Mm.
When she's out of the house, she's free. She doesn't have fear anymore at that age. So step by step, when you do that, it heals you
Mm-hmm.
100%.
I can attest to that. I have been doing inner child work myself, and I go back and I hold the child who doesn't understand, you know, what's happening or the meaning behind things people do or say, and just hold her and tell her that everything is okay. I love um, your added step of taking her out of the house. I wasn't raised in an abusive environment. It was more conflict, but not. It wasn't abusive that way. Um, but there are a lot of things that I've learned as an adult that from that I believe from those really early stages of my own development that have affected how I think and you know how I take in information, and I wanted that to change, and just going back and really holding that child from my past who was afraid and maybe felt abandoned when my parents or my mom went to work or when we moved and things like and went into a whole new environment. All of those things affected me in ways that I didn't know at the time and really didn't haven't known until more recently. And so going back and really just spending time with that young child is really, I feel, changed.
It
And
does change. It
yeah.
does change a lot.
So would you?
So
Oh, go ahead.
in my mind, sorry, in my mind, I created this beautiful house. So every time something happens, I just take 5 years old or 6 years old and take it over there. And whenever when I'm upset, I just take a deep breath and I go in that beautiful house, that beautiful kids, and I play with them.
Oh, very cool.
So that helps a lot. It really does. When I open my eyes, I'm like, wow, I'm back to normal. No anger, no upset, no fear, no nothing.
That's beautiful. There was another thing that we talked about yesterday that relates to this. It's bringing us to more present time. But do you want to say that
Exactly.
as well? The other thing you do when you're upset that helps you feel better? I just thought it was such a great idea. Do you
Yeah, it
remember
is
it?
like which one I told you
The one
about.
about the pictures.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. I love that one. When we were at the retreat, Crystal shows us the heart, and then close your eyes, breathe. Now, what I do is it's more simple for me to do because that's taking time with me. So now I just open my phone and look at the pictures that we spent at Bliss Retreat, and my mood changes. I see beautiful souls. I see everyone's face, everybody's smiling, and it's like opens my heart more. Yes, that one it takes time, but this one in front of you, oh my God, look at that. Oh my God, it's awesome. So it helps a lot. Honestly, it does. I'm having goosebumps.
So am I. And so yesterday when you brought this up when we were practicing, it instantly took me to this really high vibe, positive place, and I get goosebumps. And the same thing happened today. And I just love that. I have to say I had done something similar, but not quite the same. I think yours probably has a more powerful element to it because it's love with people, right? People that
Yes,
you really had a joyful, loving experience with, and that raises vibes in a very concrete way, really. What I have done, and it's something I didn't notice until I was doing it. I've posted things on Instagram and stuff like that, and I've wanted to look for pictures that I can then put quotes over and things. So I have some websites where I just go and look at pictures. And what I started to notice was when I was looking at certain things like flowers or puppies or kittens and things like that, but also just smiling people. Even if I didn't know these people, I noticed how my mood improved so much. And when I was looking for pictures for other things that weren't particularly happy, my mood would drop. And so that visual connection to heart and our emotions is just so powerful.
it is.
And
It is.
but also just looking at I mean, like right now in February here in Minnesota, it'd probably really be a good idea for me to go and look at flowers or summer nature. I listen to those things too to take me into a time where I feel really warm and open and attuned to nature. It's hard for me at winter because I don't go outside that much, so I'm always inside, not my scene. But those pictures
Right, you
really
can,
help.
yeah, you can go and see pictures. Instead of looking into your mind eye, you're actually seeing it.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
the difference. Because when you're in your mind eye, it's different. But when you see your actual eyes, it's different. That's how I
Yes.
think.
Yeah, I
And it
agree.
and it works. And it works.
Totally. It's really a really easy and fast way to lift your mood, right?
Yes, it is. It is 100%.
And that's
Yes,
why
it does.
that's why I wanted you to repeat it here because it's one of those things that's like, oh my gosh, that is like so easy to set up and do. And
It takes seconds. It
yeah,
takes seconds.
then it's just
And
remembering,
yes.
right?
Oh God,
Which is sometimes the hardest part. It's like if you're
it
not
is.
feeling good, the last thing you're thinking about is, oh yeah, there are pictures that'll lift my mood. You know?
No, it's like a practice. If something happens, I just hold my phone and start looking at the pictures. It's just like that.
Yep.
Because when
Well,
you
you're used to
practice,
it too.
it's yes, yes,
Yeah.
that's what happens. Yes.
That's great. So, there's a couple of different areas I would like to explore in our conversation, and then I'll let you choose which one you'd like to. I mean, you may not want to do all of these. So, I've heard more about your life story than maybe a lot of people have, without going into the negative aspects of like the abuse and things that you don't really want to revisit. Just a general outline of your life's path might be really, I mean, I find it fascinating. And I think that there are things in there that have affected who you are today. But if you're not interested in talking about that, that's totally fine too. I get it.
Mm.
Um,
No, it's fine. It's fine with me
okay.
because
That,
I am proud of myself. That's what it is.
well, why don't we do that then? And then I'll ask you some other questions about your the development of your powers and abilities and the path about that a little bit more.
Okay. Okay. Ask me a question.
Okay, well, first of all, I mean, I'd really just, my question for you is, or what I'd really um, like to hear is just that whole, you've lived in different countries, you moved for different reasons. I mean, it's you just have this fascinating story. That is one thing I'd really like to hear a little more about. So let's start with that.
Okay. Uh,
I know it's a big question.
wow. I'm going 34, 35 years back. Oh gosh. We lived in a war, Beirut, Lebanon. It was almost 13 years war. We lost our house. We lost our company, and we came to United States. And till our papers got green card and citizenship, but we went through a lot. We started from zero, zero. But we worked so hard for it. And I had
Mm,
to go to school, take my kids to school, because when I came in, I didn't know one word of English, because
mm.
most of it was French and Arabic and Armenian and there are other languages. I know five languages anyway, but I had to go.
That's pretty
I had to
awesome.
go. I had to go to learn. And then I had my third child. I didn't have any money to go see a doctor.
Mm.
I nothing at all. Like we're zero. My husband was working, and he was getting $125 a month. We're gonna pay the bills. We're gonna pay this. We're gonna do that. And
$125 a month? Holy cannoli. And you had two
I
kids at the time before.
and I was pregnant.
Wow. Wow.
So yeah, a few months later, I received a call because I'm a massage therapist too. Um,
Oh.
they call me, and then I go, okay, I'll come over. And all of a sudden, what I see is baby shower from nowhere. It's huge baby shower. I don't know anybody there. No one except one friend. She threw me a huge baby shower.
Oh.
And I go, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. I love it. Few weeks later, I received another baby shower. After that, I received another baby shower. And I go, oh my God, I'm so glad that I didn't turn out to be like my dad. Because I was giving and giving and
Yeah.
giving and not charging, not doing anything. So God knows,
Mm.
universe knows who you are, and it gives back to you in different ways. When I went to the hospital, I had $8 in my pocket.
Wow.
So imagine God opened a huge door for me. So I'm so believer in that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But now, thanks God, everything is normal in the back. My son got married. I have a grandchild. My son got married. He's gonna have a baby pretty soon. I'm gonna be a grandma again.
Which
And
you
my,
love.
which I love. I do love. I adore them. I adore. Oh gosh, I can't wait. I can't wait. So yeah, we went through a lot, but we have to be stronger, powerful. If we give up, we'll die.
Mm.
If we give a food, we have to give food to spirit,
Mm.
so spirit can feed us back. That's what it is. That's what I love.
Is that based on a particular religious belief, or is that something that you have always done, or something that you did more once you moved to the States?
Mm, actually, it started back home. Every time something happens to me, I just take the Bible and start reading and crying.
Mm.
So it built up. There is so many wonderful things written in the Bible that empowers you. For now, like manifesting books, they're all coming from the Bible, but it's expanded one because you understand now what that means. But I'm not into it so much. I do prayers. I have sent Mary back to me, and I love her to death. She always helped me because I've been crying because she's a mother.
Mhm.
She take
Yeah.
care of us. That's why she's always with me, and she's always in my heart. And whatever happened, I just call upon her
Mm.
and then do a small, very prayer. Please be with me, protect me. I don't want to go back. That's all I say. So all of a sudden, it's like goosebumps.
Yeah. No, you've gone back. Have you gone back to Lebanon since?
I did go back. I
That's
did
what I
go
thought.
back few
Yeah.
times,
How
and I
is
did go back see my dad. and I forgive him whatever he did. That's released me a lot.
Mm.
And he said that he was sorry, whatever it happens. But yeah,
So
things are good.
you've talked about it with him.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yes, I. Oh, yes, I did. Because one
Good.
day he started beating my kid, and that was like
Mm.
blow my mind away. And then I said, "That's it, no more."
Yeah.
So I thought about it. I talked about it, and then once in a while I call and see how is he doing. We have to forgive and forget. That's the best thing to do. It's not easy to forgive and forget, but that changes you when you forgive because God forgave us. Jesus forgave us
Mm.
for everything that we did. How come we're not going to forgive anyone that did harm for us?
Do you have any special um, uh, like approaches to forgiveness that you use that you found particularly helpful for you?
The thing is, it just happens. I don't prepare anything, and whenever it needs, it just comes to me, and then
The channeling
just
part of
release.
things.
Yes, yes. And there is one thing, I can get through anything. I will stay calm and believe I got this. My focus is my vision. Do you want
What?
me to repeat that?
Yes.
I can get through anything. I will stay calm and believe I got this. My focus is on my vision.
What is your vision?
My vision is to be healthy, happy,
Mm.
holy, not to be scared anymore,
Mm.
and make everybody happy like me.
And that's what's driven you in the work that you do?
Yes, I
Wow.
love to heal people. That's my thing. I don't know. I'm so glad I didn't turn out to be like my dad,
Yeah.
abusive, this and that. And I thank God for that. I'm totally the opposite. So is my brother. He's
Good.
like excellent dad. He teaches CPR. I mean, he's just like me.
So
So
also a
yeah,
healer in his own way.
yes, he is.
Wow.
Yes,
That's
yes,
great.
he
It's just
is.
you and your brother?
Yes, and my mom.
Yep.
My mom is like she went through a
Is she
lot.
still in Lebanon?
No, she's here with me.
Okay.
She
Wow.
lives 5 minutes away from me, but we're always connected to each other. So yeah, I
That's
adore my mom. She's my angel. I adore her. No matter what, she's my mom.
Did you leave with were you already married then when you left Lebanon?
Yes,
I mean, with your two sons
yes,
and your
yes.
mom?
I would.
Or
No,
did she
my
come
mom
later?
came. She came later. She
Okay.
couldn't stay away from me.
Well, of course not. Who can? I mean, you are such a bright and lovely spirit. Just very, you can tell you're a healer and um, that you just have so much love and compassion
I
within
do.
you. It's
I
wonderful to
do.
be around you, and your energy is just, phenomenal. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So as you, every one of you guys. That's why I love you all. Otherwise, I wouldn't be connected with you guys. How are you? Hey, I missed you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Well,
always here where whoever needs my help or anything, I'm always here.
well, and
They can call me.
I said, this isn't a big PR thing for Rita's business, but her nonprofit, she gives all of the profits um, to help abused
Abuse kids.
children. So, I think that's worth saying again because it's a really big deal, in that you are always giving back.
Yes,
And that, I
yes,
mean, that is a part of who you are. And
yes.
it's just so lovely to hear. So
And every classes that I teach, 35% goes to my nonprofit.
oh, good. Okay.
So that will help a lot too.
Yeah. Um, so I wanted to talk more. Thank you for sharing your story as well. Um, being born and raised here in America, it's really hard to fathom what it must be like to leave everything that like your everything you've ever known in your life behind. I have
Yeah.
lost everything in my life, and I have that feeling, just a little glimpse of it compared to what you went through. And I'm curious, do you feel in some way that you were, how did were you protected or guided? Do you believe that your abilities were there at that time, even though you didn't recognize it at the time?
Yes. Yes.
How so?
100%.
How was it showing up for you? Do you remember?
I remember about my kids. I don't want them to go through all that bombing and this and that. So I was thinking away, and we sat down with my husband and we started to think about it. And then the only thing that we say about our kid is to get out of the town,
Hmm.
no matter what it is. So that's why we left there and we came here. Thanks God for that. And somehow I kept receiving, but I didn't know. I was like sleeping at the time. Now I'm awake.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being asleep and getting nudges. And I mean, I can't, but there were so many stories I have from when I was younger of times where things could have ended very badly for me, but something always came in to protect me.
Yes.
And I did know, I've always called that my guardian angel. In fact, now my earbuds are are tapping on both sides. Because
Yes.
I know that I have some pretty amazing, as do all of us, just spiritual guides and angels watching our backs, and I have always just communicated with one angel all through my life, always knowing that not knowing if it was always that one, that was protecting me, but that's what I attribute, I always attribute it to. In fact, I believe it was Archangel Michael, but I didn't know who it was. I just have a vision of a dark-haired guy with curly hair who was an angel, right? So that's like
Yeah.
where I get that from. But I talked to him ever since I can remember, and there's so many times um,
You
when
get the message and you ignored it.
well, I was always thankful for the protection and recognized that,
Hmm.
but that's as far as it ever went with me. I didn't recognize my own abilities or powers to create my own reality at the time. So instead, I was like that little toddler who was
Oh,
precocious and would run up to people and like across the street and give them hugs and things like that. I mean, I literally was that toddler, but I think all through my early 20s, teenage years into my 20s, I was that toddler who would just be like, oh, I'm going to do this thing. And then it's like, oh man, we have to go and, save her from that now because, there are times when I was put myself into pretty harmful situations that ended really positively for me, but could have gone the other way. And,
yes.
but I never noticed it.
Hugging is the best medication.
Hugging is?
Uh,
Yes.
it's free. It's free. Hugging is free. Uh, my spirit is Rita. I always talk with her. She's always beside me, and she helped me a lot through my life. And the other thing that helped me, you said were talking about hugging. I was a leader at Boy Scout, and I had 125 kids. So the hugging is like
Mm.
a wedding. Everyone comes. Until now, they call me mommy. They call me mom. So I'm so proud of them too. They grew up now. They got married.
And
Life is good. Hugging is good.
it's so wonderful. That's one of the things that I think, in American education, at some point, hugging wasn't allowed. And I think it's still, I think there's actually sometimes when it's coming back that where people are experimenting more with it, like, because you need to experiment with these things. But that, at some point there was like a no hands policy to
Yes.
protect the
Just,
kids. And
just
I get the boundaries around that, but at the same point, there are kids who really need more human
more.
contact in a loving
Exactly.
way, like hugs. And there's a lot more
Exactly.
research coming out now that supports the benefits of hugging. And one of my friends has like these hug-a-thons. I haven't attended one yet, but he has people there, and they just hug in a platonic way.
It's
And
heart to heart.
it,
It's
yeah,
heart to heart.
well,
That's
and
the hugging is. You're
it's
protecting them with your outer. Sorry,
no, that's okay.
I need to have a drink.
I was going to say that It's hard for people who have closed off their heart chakras to be comfortable with hugs beyond just a little,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
just
hard.
a,
It's very hard, but they get used to it.
yes,
You can just
with
open
practice.
their heart.
Right.
You can just open their heart before they come in to you. You welcome them
Yeah.
before they come into your house, or before you see them, just open their hearts. That's what
The,
I do, and it works very good.
well, that's good I mean, I haven't done that. I have been the person who's had a closed off heart chakra, and I have some friends who just give amazing hugs, and they last a long time, well beyond the traditional comfort,
Yeah,
comfortable time. And I am so thankful for those friends introducing me to that and to teach me how to hug differently,
yes,
because it's opened my heart chakra as a result. And
yes, it does.
now I see it in different ways than I used to. And now I do it with my daughter, who's at that stage where she's like, okay, Mom, I'm done with the hug. And I'm like, no, not yet. You're not.
Yeah, yesterday my son was leaving. He goes, bye, Mom. I go, what? He goes, I'm leaving. I go, what? Okay, I'll give you a hug. And he's 32.
Somewhere
So, yeah,
Somewhere I saw, and it might have been from that friend who does those hugging groups. It sounds kind of weird to say it, but and at some point I will go. But he's been doing it for over a year now, so there's success there. I know for him, and that it's really changed his life. Knowing him before he's opened up in that way, to now, he's a completely different person. But somewhere there is research that says, I think that the healthy amount of hugging per day is like 8, which
yes,
is way more than I'm typically exposed to, as I'm sure many
it
of the
depends.
people watching have, maybe
It
not had
depends
that
the way
many.
you hug. It
Well,
depends the
yeah,
way you hug.
yeah.
There's two kinds of hugging. Like,
Mhm.
that's what I do. If I feel someone is needs me and he needs a hug, I'll hug it heart by heart. But if just a hug, I just hug it and then tap it on the shoulder and then
Mm.
I back up. So there's a difference between hugs.
So like the hug and tap is the shorter version where it's not so
Uh-huh.
heart centered, and it's really just more
Exactly.
like a greeting or a farewell.
Oh,
And
there's a hi,
yeah,
it's
yep,
very simple. But when I feel like that person needs hug, I really hug it from
yep,
my heart
yeah.
to heart. That's what I call it.
I think that there should be training on giving those kinds of hugs, because I think there's so many people today who have lost or maybe never experienced that art and
Yes,
the benefits that come along with it. And it's really, to me, there's a whole mindset thing that goes along with these hugs, especially if you're an empath, which you are. And
yes,
and so am I. And I used to work in human resources where you don't hug. In fact, most of the time nowadays you don't even shake hands because some people are uncomfortable with that. But for me, that physical contact in certain situations was uncomfortable for me, not knowing why. But that I just it was like it was too much of for me to take in all of that, the emotional aspect of that physical contact, not
yeah.
sexual, just any, like it's like I'm making a closer contact with a person where I already am connected to them in a certain way, and
You
it's
don't just
overwhelming.
hug. You don't just hug anybody.
Well,
You hug
no,
just
of
a
course
beautiful
not.
guy. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Hi,
So
hi, are you interviewing for a job? Here, come here. Let's
come
have a
here,
heart to
here.
heart hug for, 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Let's see how you handle that. And then I can decide if you can work here or not.
yeah.
Actually, I think that actually probably tell us a lot about the person
It does.
doing
It
that.
does.
And
It
I'm gonna
does.
have to think about that now. But
Yes,
it's
it
so,
does.
I've never really talked this much about hugs, and I think that it's a really important topic
It
because
is.
it's a form of physical contact that is that shows compassion and caring and empathy in a
And love.
positive way. Yes, and love.
And love.
And
Exactly.
I think
And
we need
somehow
more of that.
by hugging, kind of you releasing their fear, their energy, bad energy, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and 5 minutes later, you see them that they're like, I feel good.
Hmm.
Their mood changes suddenly.
Yes. Well, I find with my daughter who's uh, entering puberty, um,
Ouch.
yeah, it's so fun. Actually, she's managing it pretty well. Her, her, let's say she's awakening now. She's really becoming attuned to some of her own abilities, including healing. But then she had a vision the other day at school that
Oh,
that she
wow.
told me about, and I'm like, I am so glad she opened up. And she'd asked if everybody sees auras in color and stuff. We'd never even talked about auras, so I'm not even sure where she had that. But now it's like, okay, well now I know how to work with her in a different capacity.
Yes,
But sometimes she has a tendency to keep everything bottled up until she can't anymore. And um, the hugs help her release that. When
yes,
she's upset, if I can get her to a point where she will receive a hug, which sometimes she's just not ready for that, but then after,
exactly.
once she gets to that point and we can hug, then I can feel that energy release in her.
Yes,
And
it does.
yeah, but
Big time.
when she's mad
Big
at me,
time.
she doesn't want a hug. she, she wants to go and
Oh,
listen to,
stay away from me.
yeah, she wants to go and, journal in her own way, which is almost a cartoon-based journaling, and she wants to listen
Uh,
to angry music, and I can identify with that. I used to do that too a lot more than I do today. But
like daughter, like mother, like daughter.
maybe I don't know that I don't know. She's picking these things up at a different level than by watching me do them, and
Yeah,
so it's really interesting to be around her while she's in this stage. But she's really come to embrace her healing abilities, and she heals her friends. And
oh wow,
it's,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, she
That is
heals me and her
awesome.
dad too. It's like if her dad has a headache, she'll just stick her hand on his neck, and it's like, oh, okay. But he's not quite ready to give her credit for it, but I do. I
Yeah,
know what's really going on.
because that's what I'm practicing with Kevin. I just say, close
Good.
your eyes. What do you see? What do you feel? And then he goes, okay, you close your eyes. What do you see, Mima? So I'm doing it as a game.
Yeah,
So because the age of 5, 6, we start closing up.
yeah.
So I don't want that to be closed out, and I want him to be open always. So I practice with him.
That is such a good
It,
idea. I wish I knew
it's a
about
game.
that when she was that age, but I love making it a game.
I
Um,
call it game. So
yeah.
yeah.
Um, I'm trying to make a note of that, and I'm not sure what to call it other than a game. So, oh well, I'll figure the rest out later. um, so I'm curious about. So we went from you being in a coma for 32 days and hearing that it's not your time yet, you need to go back and help others, to then finding crystals I'm assuming some years later. I don't know when that was when you were in the coma, but how much time had passed. But then what happened in the meantime? How did you find Reiki and crystal Reiki and the tuning forks and things like that?
My doctor recommended me to do yoga. So I started doing yoga. First time, I'm gonna tell you this, you're gonna laugh. First time I went, I never been in yoga. I did, and then she said, "Okay, it's meditation time." I didn't know what meditation is, so I lay down, and she started playing the gong, and I was so scared. I opened my eyes. I go, "What the helicopter is doing here?"
Oh, oh, sure, some PTSD.
And, and then I opened my eyes. I see that she was playing the gong. I go, "Oh, that's what it is." And then after that, she said, "Did you feel the vibe?" I said, "What vibe?" I didn't feel anything the first few times because I didn't know. I didn't know anything about those things.
Sure.
So yeah, step by step, I went every day, almost every day because I needed it because I couldn't move. My body was
Mm.
stiff, in pain. So I started doing there, and then I met my guru, which is my teacher, and she was teaching Reiki. I took the class, and till now we're very, very best friends. Her name is on the book, Basha. I'm a book, so we did it together. We
Oh,
worked on the book. So that's when I started doing it, and then I wanted to open my third eye so bad. I started going to YouTube's this and that, and I saw Crystal, and she was very, very simple. She was talking so like So simple. Next day, I opened it again. I listened to her again. Third day, I did it the same. I said, this is it. I found what I need. So
Excellent.
I signed up. At that time, you have to get class to be on her Facebook
Right.
when she first started. So I took physics class from her, and I took the symbol and physics development, and
Oh, psychic development.
psychic,
Yep.
psychic development.
That's
Yes,
okay. They're close words.
yes, they are, I guess. So that opened me so much. That helped me so much, and I love it.
And
I'm
so,
attached to you guys, like.
well, I can certainly, I completely relate to that. For me, it was different because I was introduced by a friend to the Lightworkers Lab, and it was also when you had to join a course in order to be a part of the lab, and I told this story before, I think, in a previous mashup, but that I had to go in through kind of a more business way, like something that could connect to my left brain a little bit more. Um,
Hmm.
and although I've always believed in spiritual and metaphysical abilities, I've always believed in it. I've always been attracted to it. But there was I think that when it was introduced to me, I wasn't in a place where I was ready to
Hmm.
go in as deeply as I have since joining the Lightworkers Lab. So
Yeah,
I went in under the blueprint, which now is called spiritual business coaching. I
yeah,
think it's called, but
that's
it
what it
started
is.
out as a blueprint, and that was my in. And then
Yeah,
I took a number of other classes since then too.
yeah. I remember first time you were on, you were like,
Oh my gosh. Like in the lab or in the
yes,
light room or whatever it was
yes.
called at the time. Oh man.
Oh, it was in the lab. We
Oh,
didn't have Lightroom or anything else. It
yeah,
was
it was
just the
just
lab.
one thing. Well,
Yeah.
I remember having to do an introduction, and I had spoken publicly before. It was the concept of going live that really freaked me out, and having to do it in the moment. I can record things easily if because then I
Yeah.
can re-record if it doesn't go well. It was the
Well,
whole
well,
being impromptu and having to do this stuff that freaked me out. And I gave this introduction, and the way I got myself to finally do it was to wait until I had to leave to go and pick my daughter up from school, and I had like 5 minutes.
oh
And I
gosh,
had
oh
committed
gosh.
to doing it that
Yeah.
day, so I'm like, okay, well, I only have 5 minutes, so I better go and do it
Yeah.
now. That was the best way to do it because I couldn't be nervous. I just had to get
Yeah,
through it.
because you didn't think about it.
Yeah.
When you
Um,
think about it, you get nervous.
now,
If you don't think about it, it just smoothly goes away.
exactly.
It works.
It does. Now, it doesn't always work if you have to teach a full long class, like for
Yeah.
like an hour and a half. Doing it last minute without any preparation is probably,
No, that's
if you're
different.
teaching something. Now, certainly
Yeah.
doing readings and things, I think a lot of us like to prepare in advance for that as well,
Yes.
as far as clear, creating the space and stuff. But I'll tell you, if any of you watching are interested in going live and you're afraid to do it, well, one way to do it is to do it on my show because, then you can do it with somebody else and you can have a
Yes.
conversation. It's a lot, I think, easier than having to go on
Yes.
yourself and do something.
It is.
But if you have to give, start out by an introduction and wait until you have a bookend of time, and
Yes.
it makes it really much easier. And
Yes,
the
it
other
does.
thing is, this is such a comfortable space that if you mess up, it's okay. Nobody cares. Everybody's been there.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who
I
cares?
think we put so much pressure on ourselves to
Exactly.
perform at this level, and nobody else has that kind of expectation. If you're going live for the first time, those of us who have done it know exactly what it's like, and it's
Yeah.
terrifying, but then it gets better with practice.
Yeah, it does. Step by step. Because I teach live
Yep.
on my Facebook page, so it's so easy for me to do it.
Yeah.
It's you get used to it.
Yep. No,
Well,
let's see what else.
before lab, I was reading Dorian Ritual books,
Mm-hmm.
and I got certified angel card reading, a course from her. But I never used it actually. I'm more healing than reading.
Mm.
Uh, I do readings, but not as much. But most of it is healing.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Abraham Hake, and So many
Oh,
teachers.
yep. Yeah, Abraham Hicks. So you sent me pictures of the books that were inspiring for you right before the
Yes,
show. Yep.
yes, I did. I did.
Yep.
I have so many books. You can't even. My house is library
Same here. Yep. Well, I also
with
have an extensive
crystal
e-library.
with crystal. Let me show you with crystals and
Yeah, I commented on this yesterday when Rita and I were
yeah.
practicing that. She's got just the most beautiful background. I love all of those crystals. She was sitting slightly to the, well, to my left, so you could see more of the crystals that are on these really awesome candlestick holders, which is like
Yeah, I know
the best
what
way to
changes. I don't
display.
know.
Yeah.
Maybe I changed it. I don't know.
Well,
I
we
moved
see
stuff around. Yeah.
Mary is right there in the background, which is wonderful. And then
Yes.
the crystals yesterday were a little bit more visible, but that's okay. They're wonderful. Um, I'm trying to think of what questions. Hmm.
Hmm.
This is what happens when I have more than one question. My brain is like, well, they're just going to throw them all at you at once. Um,
Which one?
well, so how did you decide to how did you introduce, I mean, you've always been a healer. Well, since you've lived here, you were introduced to healing practices and doing things like that. Did you ever do it before, or were you ever exposed to healing practices before you moved to the States, like in Lebanon?
Yes, I was a nurse there.
Oh, wow. Well, that's another big part of the story. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I've always suspected that there are other aspects to this healing and your strong connection with energy that probably showed up in your life before maybe declaring yourself a light worker
Yes.
that influenced it. So nursing, I
Yes.
can totally
Yes.
see. Was that something
Yes.
that ran in your family? Were other family members nurses, or was that just a
Oh,
thing
it's my
you?
mom. My mom. My mom.
She was a nurse as well.
Yes.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
decided not to pursue that when you came here. Um,
Mm-mm.
this kind of
No,
changed
I
everything
stopped
in
it
your
there.
life.
It's because every time I see a kid or I'm gonna inject the kid medication, this and that, my heart is like, I
Mhm.
said, I
Mm.
can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. But I went and I learned massage, therapical massage. I don't do whole body massage. I just do the massages wherever the pain is,
Did you say
and then give
topical?
the therapical,
Oh, okay. Okay.
whatever it is.
Okay. But you do it like on where it's needed.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I do. I do. And then I do the healing now. I add healing, I add crystals on it. It's different modality that I created and it works much better.
So it's your own modality.
Yes, yes.
That's really neat too. How did you I mean, so you learned Reiki, you learned crystal Reiki, you learned massage. At what point did you feel comfortable coming up with your own way? What were you noticing that those things weren't doing independently that you wanted to do in your own style?
My own style took a while. When I added symbols, like energy, it heals much, much faster.
Mm.
And the pain was uh, tolerating, but it helps a lot with symbols. And because when I do, I take it and I give it,
Mm-hmm.
connecting with the light and give light. And then when I work, usually the way that I work, I usually put the symbols on it, and then I go circular motion clockwise,
Ooh.
symbols and clockwise. But they don't know about it. They just know that I'm healing them. But I mean, I'm massaging them with my fingers.
Well, do you use the traditional Reiki symbols, or do you come up with symbols um, that are your own that you've created?
I created few because when I heal, when I'm doing a massage, it comes to me. I
Mm.
don't think about it. It just, my hands are all over the place. I don't know what's going on and what's happening. My hands are all over the place. I feel like there were my energy is so full with Saint Rita or Michael or Raphael.
Mm.
They're in my body and they're doing the work, not me.
Yeah. Well, and so, I mean, it's
Like
clearly
it's
you're
like the
channeling,
tune, exactly, but like the tuning part, there is zillion kind of what do you call it, measurement, and from zero it goes all of a sudden it goes 100, which I'm not doing it. It just flows
wow. So with
from
the,
zero to 100. I don't know. It just flows because I work with Archangel Raphael, who is a healer. So I call upon him, and then it just comes. Like I said, they're holding my hands and they're doing the work, not me. And I don't feel tired.
well, then
It's
that,
very
I
interesting.
mean, that's a true sign of really channeling their energy because, and with Reiki in general is that you're not supposed to get tired when you're doing it because it's
Exactly.
really, you're just kind of the vessel, the conduit, right? Do you,
Exactly.
do you have any particular practices that you do before you will work on a person, energetically with your massage, with Reiki, tuning forks, stuff like that?
Yes, I do it for 10 minutes meditation. I invite everyone, my ancestors. I have a special prayers for that. I wrote it down. I'll take a picture. I think I sent it to you a while ago. So I do that,
Okay.
and then I start working
Wow. How do you find people? Do they just come to you? Or is it just
by
word of mouth?
referral. Yes,
Wow,
by
that's
referral.
wonderful. See, it's another, I'm so fascinated by, I've been a bit of a control freak in my life. And so, in a loving way, but that it's always the hardest thing for me is letting go and allowing that spiritual guidance to the point where, I mean, like for you, you were giving and giving and giving, and things started to just come to you. It wasn't necessarily that you were being really intentional about what you wanted to manifest and how. Um, and the how is sometimes the part that is not always easy for. I mean, yeah, it's like we're supposed to let the how go, right? And
Yes,
and
exactly.
it's
It just
hard.
happens.
Yeah.
It happens. You're just gonna allow. When you allow, it happens. I'm receive. I
Well,
receive. I'm open to receive the highest good of energy. I'm open to receive the light. I'm open to receive a healing. I'm open. Please hold my hand and do healing. Work with me. Uh, Whatever that minute comes out of my mouth. So
well, and I'd say that also takes a big, at some point, a big leap in for trust. That you
yes,
have to trust that
trust.
it's all going to be okay, that it's all going to work out.
Yes, and it works.
Yeah. So do you remember, have you always had that trust? Is that just a part of your, who you are
I
as
do.
Rita?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. I have. 'Cause I used to go and cry for 2 hours, hours and hours. I go. There's a church here, St. Rita's
Mhm.
Church.
How
So
lucky is
this
that? Did you move
it's
to this place that's close to the church, or did the church find you?
I have no idea. It's like 5 minutes away from me. I
Wow.
used to go. I used to go a lot, and I used to cry a lot because one day the doctor told me you have colon cancer, and I go, "What? This is what I needed now." So, um, I used to go every day and sit down and cry because I don't want anybody to see me crying. My
Hmm.
kids, I don't want them ever to see me crying. They're because I always like, no crying. You're good. You're empowering them. So I just go there and sit down. I guess that's helped me a lot. And then the second test that we did, it was gone.
Wow. So you were
So
crying to release maybe all the things you were holding inside from all of these
yes,
experiences you've had that
hmm,
that were bad, right?
yes,
I
yes.
mean, they may have been lessons, but they weren't, happy
What kind of
ones. And
lesson is that?
well, I do ask those questions. It's like, okay,
I
I
don't.
know this
I
is a
just let it
lesson,
go.
but you're gonna have to make it clear to me because I don't get the point, sometimes.
I just let it go.
Yeah.
I don't think about it. If you think about it, you go crazy. Why? How? What? No,
Yeah.
you don't think about it. Just let it go. Just
Well, I think some people have a really hard time um, because they have, and I can identify with this, they have they want to make sense of it. And so if you can't make sense of it, it just keeps nagging at you. And I think there's, I've really, over the past years, I've really been interested in understanding that letting go, what it means. How do people let go? I think for some people it's easier than others. And
Yes,
and to let it go means you don't keep going back and thinking about it. It means changing your habits of thinking about a thing, and that can be really challenging, because these habits that we've developed in our brains are kind of like like rivers, right, of thought. And so you
yeah.
have to pretty much create a whole new river and tell that other one, I'm going this way now.
Yes, you did. Because what I do is like I switch. When it comes to me, I switch to happy place, just like that.
Yep. Which is, yeah,
And which I don't think about it at all anymore.
that's
It just
awesome.
switches. I don't want to think about it. When my ego start telling me no, 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 I switch. Just
So
like that.
you
Blink of
know
an eye.
when you're going down that path that you don't want to go down, that before you even get there to where it can hook you into that whole thinking about it and dwelling on it, that it's important to switch to this other thing right away.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the thing. That's the easiest thing to do.
Do you have,
Honestly.
so is that where the pictures come in, or do you have other things that you use as happy thoughts they're kind of like your go-to thoughts
I
to
go
help you
happy
switch?
thoughts. I go happy thoughts.
Is there anything in
From right to
particular?
left, left to right.
Cool.
It's
Well,
it's just like that. Yeah.
so I try to collect things that are absurd that make me laugh. For
Hmm.
me, laughing is super important, and there are times where I lose my ability to laugh, which is it's a danger sign for me to know that, okay, you're losing your humor, you're getting too serious. This isn't a good place for you to be. And so I try to find things that are just goofy. I'm trying to think of, it's like I've collected them and now I'm not thinking of any in particular.
Music
Just
and dance.
Yes, but there's also things that just
Music and dance.
there are things that make me laugh. And if they make me laugh and I can do them really quickly, then that is the fastest way to get me out of a negative thought process.
I sing.
And it's like,
I
and
sing.
I do too. I very much identify with music and singing. In fact, I just channeled something the other day about it's important for me to continue to sing regularly because it opens up my throat chakra for one thing, but it helps me to express, all of
Your
these
feelings.
emotions.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
it's
Sometimes I cry when I sing.
oh, yeah,
It just releases.
yep. There
Like
was
if I
something.
listen to Celine Dion,
Mhm.
she has some empowering songs. I cry sometimes when I'm driving, or if I'm angry, I just sit in the car and I go, stop it now.
Yeah.
And it goes away.
I listen to Nine Inch Nails when I'm angry. That's one of my best ones. I don't know if you're even familiar with Nine Inch Nails. I know some people watching are though, but
No, I'm not.
there are other bands that do that for me as well. But Nine Inch Nails for years has been my go-to thing because I have to sing angry music if I'm angry. That is the only way for me to I cannot listen to happy music when I'm angry. It makes me angrier. So I have to meet my emotions where I'm at. And
Hmm.
then I created a playlist so that I can start grouchy or angry. And then each song progresses and they're all songs I know the words to. And it's
Yes,
eclectic.
yes.
And,
That helps a lot. That
yeah,
really. I have a collection of that too
I am
in my phone. So I just
I
listen
I
to it.
I am a strong supporter of for people, not everybody resonates with music the same way that some of us do. My husband likes music, but he doesn't listen to the words. So for him, the words matter a lot more to me than they do to him. And so the songs that I create in my playlist have to be songs that I can sing. Even if I don't always identify with the words, it usually helps if I'm angry, especially to identify with the words. Um,
Listening helps too.
yep. Well, for
You're
him, there are
listening good.
songs. Yeah. But for him, for his type of playlist, it's more just songs that make him feel good. It doesn't have to have anything to do with the lyrics.
Hmm.
And, there are no rules to it. So it's like minuscule moments of mirth. Okay, I just happened to see one comment come in from Adele. She calls it MMOM, minuscule moments of mirth. And I love that.
Okay.
I still love that. But yeah, so it's like, I mean, do you have a clairaudience ability? Do you hear things?
I get the I sometimes I do. Sometimes I do, not always.
I've always wondered about that and the connection to music and vibration that way as well. And you're
Yes,
using tuning forks, so it's like, there's a lot of things that
it
relate to that
it does. It
ability.
does. Like
Clairaudience is probably my biggest.
when I'm really, really into it, yes. But not every minute or every second. But I can receive a message by my hand starts burning.
Oh,
That's how I know something is going on. Like just one finger, sometimes one finger. Yesterday I had pain and this finger, ring finger. And I called my daughter-in-law. She goes, "Yeah, mom, I'm so depressed. Help me out."
oh my
So
gosh.
that's why I got
Wow.
that's how I get messages.
That's wonderful. I love that you are that attuned to what sensation leads to what message. And for me, I've been really closed off to my body for most of my life. That's one of the, for me, my escape has been, kind of hanging out in the ethers more than in my physical
Yeah.
form. I almost always pitch Lauren and to Firmo's Body of Light program because of that, because it's really through that program that she's helped me to recognize just how detached from my body I've been most of the time. Coming back into it helps me really recognize how messages are coming in. And those chills, who one of our upcoming guests calls truth chills, those
Hmm.
chills are one of the ways, but I notice I get a lot of them through my ears. So I get tones in my left ear or my right ear, sometimes both. Um, and and then things that show up around me. So more recently than not, I've been finding quarters, and it was just the other day I sat down and I'm like, who's leaving me quarters? Who in my ancestry would, what does the quarters mean? And I remembered that my grandmother, both of my grandparents have passed, both sets, but one of my grandmothers used to collect quarters. She had these little blue books with the quarters that were printed for every state that she was collecting. It was just a game that she had with her friends.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
the one that I found by my desk was face up with a state on it. And then I found another one in my car. And it's like, all right, hi, Grandma.
right,
And
right.
it's so nice to know who it is.
Yes, yes. That's the most important thing. If you know, oh gosh, Lauren taught me a lot. I learned a lot from Lauren, from
Yeah.
Justin. They helped me a lot. First, when I signed up, and I keep calling Crystal. I was so depressed, so in pain. I was like losing it. I kept calling Crystal and I kept calling Lauren. And then Lauren said, "Rita, give me 5 minutes. I'll take 15 minutes break and I'll talk to you." I never forget that. She did that for me. Oh gosh, it was like awesome. That's why I call it Sweet Angel. She's my
She
sweet
is a
angel.
sweet angel.
Yes,
And I think you raise a really big thing, and something that I is one of the things that I value so much in the Lightworkers Lab is that that's a community that has a huge amount of support and loving
exactly.
support. Um, that I mean, it's the only place when I have felt down, and that happens in winter sometimes for me. And this past, like the last year was a really rough year and emotionally for me, and I think at many others, just all the
Yes,
astrological things going on and stuff. And the
yes,
one
it was.
place I felt I could go and be myself was the Lightworkers Lab. And, my husband doesn't get the whole just snap out of it is kind of his response to,
Mine, mine,
to
mine,
getting
mine
emotionally
too.
low.
Mine too. What again? What is new again? Oh, tell
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, he didn't even know that I was so sad till I actually flat out told him. I'm like, you don't even
Yeah, because
know.
they don't know.
No, but
Because they
but
don't know. They don't
friends I had
understand.
in the Lightworkers Lab did, people I reached out to and stuff who I know would be there to support and send love, and all of those things mattered so much and still
Yes.
do to me. Um, and so I'm talking to anybody who is like thinking they're in isolation all by themselves and doesn't want to reach out to anybody because they're embarrassed or they feel, ashamed to be feeling low when they have so many good things in their lives. You know, that's social stuff pushing in on who you are and telling you you're supposed to
Exactly.
feel that way. Just reach out, okay? Because there are
Yes,
people here that will support you. Everybody here is supportive and
exactly.
loving. So just saying, there's my public service announcement for the day. Maybe for the next, well, let's see, my next show is Thursday. So, that,
Yes,
that should last until then, okay?
yes, it will. And I'll send you good energy.
Yeah. So
Lift you up.
speaking of energy, Rita has volunteered to give a tuning fork healing to close out the show, right? Did I get that right?
You're
Is
right.
what you were planning to do? Okay.
Yes,
We have
yes,
8 minutes left. Now, you said you only need a couple of minutes. So I
yes.
just want to mention to anybody before you take off, just stick around if you can, because that's going to be fabulous and just a wonderful thing that I love. I mean, I love tuning forks. I just, for me, the audio aspect of things is always is such an important part of my life. Hearing and
Yes.
vibrations and all of those things just are a part of well, just how I receive messages spiritually. And I just what you did at the Bliss Retreat with the tuning forks for Julie and I were just it's like I think I'm still blissed out from that, really.
I'll
So,
send it to you anytime you want. Actually, the other day I sent it to Julie.
oh,
I
good.
recorded it and I sent it to her, so she's happy. I
Yes.
can do that.
Yep.
Yeah, you keep tapping.
Well, I
And and this is what I do. Instead of tapping, I just play this.
oh, see, look at even that. What is that made of?
Well, one of my sisters gave it to me from the lab, Megan.
Oh,
So
the
I
other
use it instead of the other Megan. Yeah, so I use it sometimes.
gosh, I
Can
love
you hear
it.
it?
Yes.
It's it's the sound is so vibrating when I do it faster. I mean, it's awesome. I love it. Connecting wise instead
Yeah.
of other things.
For me, it
So I
helps
have
to
so many things. Yes,
for me it helps to clear out sticky energy.
exactly.
Yeah,
It helps a
that's
lot, and I
wonderful.
love it. And I just use it to clear my chakras, but just clearing them out. It's by circular motion, like your throat chakra, clockwise, and it opens up all your chakras, and it's like awesome,
That
especially.
is okay. So, Megan, I'm not going to call out your last name because this goes public with our replay. But Megan, if you're listening, which I think I saw you here, I'd really love to know what that's called and where to get it, so I can add it to the show notes. So either PM me or just add it to the comments here. But I'm really interested in that tool. It's really neat. Very
It is
cool.
very neat. I use it every day.
Yeah, I would
If I don't
too.
have time to work with my tuning, and this one is like so handy. It's
Yeah.
on my table, and I sing. I create songs.
It's
Thank you, Megan.
beautiful. I was thinking rain sticks too. I don't have any rain sticks. I just went to our local kind of metaphysical shop and I noticed they had some really beautiful ones. And someday that may be another thing I pick up because I love the sound of them.
Oh, they're
And it's
awesome.
like I listen to rain sounds when I listen to fire, rain, and wind,
Who doesn't?
environmental sounds before I go to sleep because it helps to clear me out so well, and I have a really nice restful sleep as a result. Um,
Native American has so many beautiful music,
yeah.
rain. I mean, they're awesome. I always listen to them, and it gives you high vibes sometimes, and
Hmm.
sometimes it relaxes you. So I always listen to that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hello. Rattle. That's what it is. A rattle. That makes total sense
Yes.
to call it.
Hmm. Oh, yes, rattle. Yeah, I forgot.
I know it's one of those words. It's like, well, I often
Right.
attribute it to babies, but it is a rattle, and
It is
and
rattle.
it's an adult version. Which why shouldn't we
Yes,
always
it
have a
is.
rattle? Seriously, I could have used a
Exactly.
rattle most of my life, and I'm glad that it's being
Every
introduced
minute.
again. Yes. Well,
Every minute.
so we are down to 3 minutes. So I think
Okay.
let's close out the show. Let me just say a couple of things. Thank you very much to Rita for being here today. I loved talking with you and hearing your story and talking about hugs and all of that fun stuff. And then just stay tuned for Thursday, coming up next week on Thursday, March 7th is Amy Robinson. That's my special edition. It happens at 1 o'clock Central Time.
Yay!
And then Lisa Robinette in 2 weeks. So this will be her second appearance, and we're going to have a really fun conversation as well. So thanks everyone for joining us. And Rita's going to close the show with her vibration or
just
her.
Be open.
Yep.
Just be open to receive it. And thank you, Megan, for having me.
My pleasure.
Thank you, everyone, for sticking with us. Here we go.
Thank you. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Blessing weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.